Hi everybody, come along with me and make these cute apple earrings. Let's get started. So right now I'm making a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain up 3, which is going to be our first double crochet. So we will use that in our design. So chain up of 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to yarn over after this and go through the very first chain on our hook, and we're going to start the cluster. So we have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and now you see I've got 2 little clusters there. Let's do the same thing. Yarn over, pull through, only yarn over again and pull through 2 of those loops. Now I have 3 on my hook. Yarn over, go through the very first chain, yarn over and pull through. Let's grab that strand. This part will be the most difficult because we have barely anything to hold on to. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 4 chains on our hook, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. So yarn over and pull through all 4 of these loops, and that is our first side to our apple. And then we are going to chain 2. This will be our middle section. 1, 2. And then we're going to repeat that. So we're going to make our other side of our little flesh. So yarn over and go through that same first chain on our hook. Watch the end here. It's very, very difficult because we're working in such a small little circle here. So yarn over, pull through 2. Like this. And we have 2 chains on our hook. Now that is only 1 double crochet. So we have to do this one more time, one more than the other side. So yarn over, pull through 2. That'll be 3 chains on our hook. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 4 chains on our hook, and we have 1, 2, 3 double crochet. So we need 1 more. We need 4 on each side. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over again, pull through 2. And that is our final double crochet. So we have 5 chains on our hook. Yarn over and pull through all 5 chains. This will finish our little flesh. And then yarn over, pull through, and we can tie this off by snipping the end. And I will just show you here. Like this is the front. So at the top we've got our 2 chains, and at the bottom we just have where we've worked all of our chains through, and I'm just flipping this to the back side and pulling our ends so that they're on the wrong side of our work, and this will make more sense once we connect both pieces. So here I'm going to be making the apple skin portion. So we have made a chain, a slip knot, and then we are going to go through that middle section, which is our top, and we're going to do a single crochet, and we'll do 2 single crochets for each side. So go through that chain 2 space, yarn over, pull through. That's your second single crochet, and then from here we want to make a total of 8 chains. Sometimes if your work is a little smaller, you may find that 8 chains might be too much, but let's try this. We have 6 here. I'm going to do 2 more, 7, 8, and then we will go through that chain space and just slip stitch. So that's our first side to our apple, the apple skin, and then we will chain again 8. Hopefully it should be 8, so it should equal 8 and 8. It does depend how loosely you have made your flesh middle part in the cream color. But yeah, it should equal out to 8. So try as best to equal it out both sides to 8. And then we will do 2 more single crochet in this chain 2 space. So that's a total of 4 single crochets in that chain 2 space, 2 on each side. So that is our round, and we will slip stitch underneath the very first chain we made for that round and just tie it off. So that is the start of your apple. And there you have that. The back is kind of messy, so what I'm going to do is, so I'm not going to go through this chain here. I'm going to go onto the opposite side and pull through this little end. So that way it's kind of on the back side and it's easier for us to have it all hide behind on the wrong side of the work. So from here, we've finished the first portion, and then we're going to make our apple seeds. So I'm using black yarn here, and I'm just threading it through my needle, and then I'm going to go through the white part of the flesh. And I'm just picking the middle portion, so you will kind of see these little holes in between your double crochets. So make sure they're just even while you're doing that. And this may take a few times for you to try, but hopefully you get it and you'll see those spaces in between the double crochets. And I'm just going to take this as go through 2 times on each side, so that way our apple seeds are more defined. And there's the one side, and I'm going to do that same thing on the other side, finding the hole here. Now mind you, this has been very difficult for me to try to do because of my sight right now. I am down, kind of not being able to see in my one eye, my left eye. So this was extremely difficult for me to perform for you guys, but I did it. I finally finished it. It took me a bunch of times to try to do this, but I'm so happy that you guys have stayed and are watching this tutorial and hopefully making these cute tiny little apple earrings. Even if you don't want to use them as apple earrings, you can always make them for the keychain, which I'll show you in the later part of this video. So where the single crochets were at the top, the 4 single crochets, I just want to remind you that is the top of the apple. So here I'm going to be making the back, and I'm going to do a chain up of 4, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first chain we did. So this is just working in the round. And mind you, this recycled cotton that I'm using is like deadly. It splits so bad, and working this small plus not being able to see, it was like torture for me. So try to find some cotton that's maybe mercerized or mercerated. It may be a lot better than this recycled cotton I'm using. So right now we've done a chain up a 4, we've slip stitched, we're working in the round, and we're just doubling our chains. So from 4 we're going to go to 8. So we're just going to work around until we get to the beginning of our first single crochet. So here I'm just going around and making sure I have 8 single crochets in this second round. And we'll just do here. I do have a video on how to make a magic ring in my shorts video, so go and check that out, and I can link it in the top description here. Here I have slip stitch into the very first chain, and then I'm going to do a chain up of 1, and then I'm going to start the third round. So we're doing a single crochet in the very first stitch, and the second stitch we're doing 2 single crochets. Let's get this right. This yarn, I swear. 2 single crochets in the 1 chain, and then again next one we're doing 1 single crochet, and the next one we're doing 2, 1, 2, and we're going to repeat that around. And by the end, at the very end, when you make it to your very first single crochet, you just have to make sure you have 12 single crochets for this third round. If you find you're like down 1 or 2 stitches, it's fine. Just add the single crochets at the end. Just make sure you have 12 for this third round. And because the project is so little, I mean, depending if you're doing a bigger project with thicker yarn, mind you, you may want to make sure to use a stitch marker. But if you're like me, a lot of the times I will just make sure to count and make sure it just looks round. So here I've gone on to my 4th round now, and I've just sped the camera up, and I'm apologizing for it being a little bit off camera. It is due again to my eye. I'm only using the right side of my head, so I think I started to move everything closer to the left. But for this 4th round, we are doing a chain up of 1, and then we will do 2 single crochets, and then into the third we're doing 2 double crochets into the third. So single crochet into the third, 2 single crochets until you get to the end, and you should have 16. Make sure you have 16 single crochets, and I'm just tying it off here. And you see how this little bump is there? I like the way the back side of this looks better for this project, so I'm going to use a reverse. So the wrong side I'm going to be using. And I'm just pulling through the end so that it's on the other side of the work. And we're just going to make sure all of those go into our little middle portion of our project. So here I'm hiding all of those ends inside the apple. So here I am showing you how to attach both sides, and I'm just using a regular darning needle, and we're just going into the one side only of each single crochet. So in those V-stitches, you'll see both sides of the V-stitch. I'm going on the closest side to the middle, so if that makes sense, just don't take the outside V-stitches, do the middle V-stitch portions. And I just show you here. You know, it's not the clearest, I don't think, right now, but we're going around in a circle, obviously, and you should have, I think, hopefully, if you have 8 and 8 on both sides and 16 on the back, you should have a total of 16 round stitches that you're going to go through. You might have a few more, but that, again, that's fine. Just make sure you're going through each single crochet one side only, and you'll finish off by making a few little knots and tying it off the ends, and then we will pull it through and hide it within the middle portion of our work. So here I'm almost at the very end. Just make sure it's neat and tidy. I'm cutting it off here and securing it with 2 knots. And then I'll just take the ends of those works and pull it through the middle and just hide those ends within the little apple itself. So yeah, we're almost coming to the end. We're just going to end up making the little stem and the leaves next. So I hope you're liking this tutorial. I hope you've watched some of my other granny square tutorials that I've made. Please let me know if you want any other things that are cute to make. Give me some suggestions. All right, so here we're just going into the top of our apple. And again, the top of our apple is where we have our 4 single crochets. So make sure that thicker portion you see on the front of the apple is the top that you're using. So we just did a slip stitch, and then we're doing a chain up of 4, and then slip stitching back into that same space that we attached the first chain to, like this, and then slip stitch. And then instead of cutting anything off, we're just going to continue with making the leaf portion. So we're going to do a chain of 8 plus 1, which will be our turning chain. So here I'm just doing 8, 9, and then the very first, the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 1 single crochet. And then the next one, we will do a half double crochet. So any of these chains that I'm doing right now, I have all the tutorials on how to do these. Next one will be a double crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And then this one we're doing a treble crochet. And I will link all of these in the description. Go take a look at them if you don't know how to do these stitches. This is a treble crochet, which is almost 3 single crochets in 1. And then we're going to go down from that. We're going to do we did our treble crochet. We're going to do a double crochet. So now we're making the leaf smaller on the other end. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the 1. Next one, it'll be a half double crochet, half double, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then we're doing just a regular single crochet. I'm almost down to the end of this yarn. I didn't even realize I was finished. So there's my single crochet, there's our little leaf, and then this one I'm just going to slip stitch and then pull through both chains and then tie it off. I barely have anything here. Don't do this. Don't cut your yarn before you know how much you need. And then I'm just going to tie 2 knots and then again secure it by bringing the loose ends through the back of the work and hiding them within the apple. And so here we are. We have finished our little project, our cute little apple. It's like 3-dimensional as well, which is really cute. The flesh kind of comes out from the actual apple skin. So I think that's really neat how I've designed that. And here I'm just showing you can have a earring backing if you want to attach that to the little stem portion where we've made that little, we have a tiny little space we can add. This one I'm going to do a keychain. So I'm just have this little beaded key loop thingy. And yeah, so here we go. You can use that as a little keychain or a charm for your purse. It's so cute. Let me know what you think of this cute little design I've made, this tiny little apple in crochet form. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please follow for more, and you guys have yourself a great day.